Hello everybody, this is Weddleman's Watch back here at the House. I'm gonna try to make it fairly quick. Well, forecast and make it as accurate as I possibly can. So, here we go. So, a little bit of updates. I wouldn't say though too much, but we can say now that in about 2 weeks and stuff, it'll get up to like the mid 90s to like lower hundreds. And I believe, if I'm correct, I believe there's like a really big heat winds. And right now, next Monday, it's going to shift towards the east and stuff. So it'll be in the, did I say east? No, in the west. It'll be in the west. So it'll be in the western U.S. It'll be hitting places like Washington, Oregon, California, and it'll bring them up from 110 to 120 heat indexes. Now, I know you may be asking, Isaiah, but what does this have to do with us? Well, I tell you, so there's something else. I don't know. I mean, the heat which also has to do a little bit with it, but I think there's something else south of us that's in the Gulf. It'll rise up a whole lot of warm moisture, warm air and stuff, compressed with a whole lot of, well, I don't really know. But one thing I can say is there's a big heat pattern and stuff. There's a pretty good, size pattern in the next couple of weeks. Pretty big heat pattern that comes through, firms up, like starts next Friday and stuff. It'll bring temperatures up to the mid 90s to low hundreds, and we can see heat indexes probably climb back to 110 to 120 again. So that's all I can say for that right now. I got a somewhat glimpse of what's happening with that, but I don't really know the full story of it. But it's looking fairly likely in the next couple weeks that after we go past next Friday, we're gonna get into the mid 90s to lower hundreds again. And this is normal for this time of year because it's summer. You'll get heat whizzes and warm pressure and stuff coming through, and bringing temperatures up to 110 to 120. So, yeah. Well, for heat indexes, that is heat indexes wise, and then you'll see a lot of temperatures of high 90s and low hundreds and heat index of 110 to 100. So, yeah, that's for the heat situation. Now, for today and on our way till Saturday, we will have. Hang on, and I got a little bit of. I believe I got a little bit of extra information from whether or not Bowling Queen. So, yeah, we're gonna continue having to do points every day, most of the week, of low 70s to mid 70s. We'll have the highs. Well, the highs actually did cool out a little bit now. So now it's practically mid 80s to high 80s. There'll be a lot of days where it's like. There'll be a lot of days that I would say a couple of days. I believe it'd be more like the high would be like 87 and stuff. But anyways, aside from that we're gonna have, thanks to let me fake. There's gonna be masses. There's gonna be air masses pushing through a stagnant bounce will be coming through. Now, if I search up what that means, because I'm not really so sure what it means, I searched it up. So that's what bounce we set up for Kentucky this week. So a star frontal bounce is bringing unsettled weather to Hawkinsville across Kentucky. What does this mean? The stagnant boundary setup. And I don't even know why I'm searching it up. I'm supposed to be the one that knows everything, but honestly, I still don't, because I don't got all the clips of weather and stuff. But yeah. So a stagnant boundary or front that I have been saying it's gonna be stalled, like it's gonna be perked in Kentucky, like that part I do know. No, so okay, it's really simple actually. So it's just the worm in the core it moves and stuff, and it's gonna perk itself here, and then it's gonna keep. Yeah, okay, I know what's happening. So a stagnant boundary is practically to his warm and cold air coming together, generating thunderstorms and stuff, and just perking itself in one spot. And for every single day this week, we're gonna have this same stagnant boundary that's perked here for the next couple of days, and this is gonna bring thunderstorms. And now I wouldn't say the threat on these aren't that bad. Like all we could see is most of the time you're gonna see a whole lot of special weather statements of 40-mile-an-hour winds, and there is a little bit of a chance for hail, but I would say it's gonna be more like a quarter inch of hail to about half an inch. I mean, I'm not saying that penny-sized or an inch of hail isn't possible, but it's most likely gonna be that. So that's practically the situation for that. So this week basically we'll continue to see the high 80s, low 90s. A couple of days will be more like mid 80s and stuff like that. We'll continue to have dew points of the low to mid 70s and humidity values of about the mid to high to low 80s. Well, actually no, low to mid 70s actually, and stuff. Depending on how wet it is, practically 70 the 70s to the mid 80s. 70 to the low 80s is practically what I would expect this whole week. But basically what you need to look out for are these air masses, or these cold and warm air masses combining themselves into each other, like crashing with each other, with all these fuel strike temperatures getting up into the mid to low the mid 90s to low 100s, and your highs reaching the high 80s to low 90s, and with the dew points being in the low to mid 70s, the humidity being in the 70% to 80% humidity corridor for practically all this week till Saturday. This is gonna bring a lot of it. This is gonna bring a bit of energy, like just barely enough energy to where we can see a bare minimum threat, a practically 40-mile-an-hour winds, up to 60-mile-an-hour winds. I don't really believe too much in it, but I would say 40 to 50-mile-an-hour winds, if anything happens, would be the main threat. But there might be a little bit of a couple of storms that do end up getting to 60-mile-an-hour winds and penny-sized, maybe, but I wouldn't really count on it. It's this pop-up thunder summer storms that's gonna happen, and thanks to all this. So practically, as we move through this pattern of the system and stuff, as the stagnant boundaries come in and crash with the air masses, when yourself perks over the Kentucky and brings multiple days of showers, bringing a nice little coating of rain and storms, bringing areas. I would say about this whole week, I would say 2 to 4 inches this whole week, just from these small little pop-up storms in localized areas, by the way. Well, up in mostly localized areas and stuff. I would say 2 to 4 inches is probably what we've seen. It's probably what the main story for how much rain places have gotten. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I think that's really all I gotta say. As we move past that and stuff, it'll start to get a bit more. Next week, we'll continue to stay in about to mid to upper 80s, maybe a couple of days of low 90s, mostly mostly upper mid to high 80s, and just bare minimum low 90s. But yeah, and then of course when Friday comes around, this heat winds or whatever for on this warm air and stuff. I think it has something to do with this the Gulf. It's either the Gulf or the Western U.S. that was. It's either the Western U.S. that has the heat winds or something now in the Gulf. It's gonna cause temperatures to skyrocket back up to the mid 90s to high hundreds and heat index of 110 to 110 to 120. So yeah. So that's all I gotta say here at the Weatherman's Watch here. Thanks for tuning in and everything. I hope everybody has a good day and everything. Hopefully everybody enjoys the rain. Of course, there will be a couple of storms that'll have a bit of thunder and stuff in it, but I wouldn't see. But there's not really much of a severe threat with all these. It's just bare minimum. It's just 4 mile of winds is the bare minimum, and 4 mile winds is practically the mainstream. Probably 60, but I would say 40 to 50 mile an hour winds is the main story for today. The main story, and then maybe, just maybe, and of course for this whole week, and maybe up to penny-sized hail. But yeah, have a good day, everybody. This is Weatherman's Watch out. Of course, if you want official updates, tune in to Weather Now Kentucky, Weather Not Bowling Green, all your National Weather Service offices, you know, all the real deals, because they got more of a clear idea of this than I would, but I got a general understanding of what's going to happen. So, anyways, thanks for tuning by, and we'll continue to update everybody of the we'll continue to make updates going around about what's going on and what's happening. So, anyways, have a good day. Bye bye. This is Weatherman's Watch out.